it's a good question, and I mean, from our perspective, yeah, absolutely. And it's mainly from our perspective, it's just the reason why you couldn't design this way is because nonlinear control was just not feasible in for you just couldn't do high dimensional control like a few years back. It's only possible kind of like almost 2021 onward, I'd say 2022 onward, where high dimensional control started to become feasible. So if you actually look back at the Shadow Robot company from some years ago, maybe almost a decade ago now, because I think they're like 20 years old. They had a muscle actuated hand briefly, but the thing is just you couldn't control it. If you wanted to teleoperate a robot back then, because you couldn't do autonomous operation, like neural networks were nowhere near good enough. You're not doing autonomous operation. You couldn't do it because neural networks weren't good enough. So you had to teleoperate. And if you want to teleoperate, it's so much easier to control some linear motors than it is to control these like nonlinear muscles. And that was kind of really the problem. So the thing is, we just like had this. Rukash had this certainty even without kind of knowing where it was going to go. It's just kind of knowing, hey, AI is going to get better and better, and so it should be fine. And sort of I jumped in as I kind of knew, like, hey, AI is good enough now. We can train very, very large, like world models that can learn all kinds of rich information about reality, that'll actually let us control these very high dimensional systems. So yeah, I'd say that now that that's possible, you should rethink how you're doing your hardware. You're not constrained the same way you used to be. And so that's why from day one in this company, we don't operate on any of those constraints.